Hi, Stamper fans. Welcome to another Make It Monday. So glad you're joining me. I am Nan Gerlitz, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Bloomington, Illinois, and I am here to help women rediscover themselves through creativity with card making tips and tutorials. So thanks for joining me. If you are watching live, please go ahead and drop a comment so I know who's here. But if you're watching the replay, please also say hi. I'd love to know who stopped by. If you ever have any questions, whether you're watching live or the replay, you can drop a comment and I will see them, or you can send me a private message on Facebook. That's fine too. I am here live Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Time, right here on my Facebook page every week. So this week I have my winner chicken dinner card, my fun rainbow card from Friday Night Stamping. So I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to switch it up a little bit tonight. I've actually got 3 different techniques that you can do to add color when you're using embossing folders. So if embossing folders are fabulous for adding texture to cards. So if you don't want any more color, you just want some texture and some interest, embossing folders are fabulous for that. But if you want a little bit more oomph and you want it to show a little more, let's say, and not just be a tone on tone kind of thing, I'm going to show you 3 of the ways you can do that. There's lots of others as well, but I'm showing you 3 tonight. So we're not going to do a full walkthrough necessarily, because I've pre-done a lot of parts, but I'm going to show you those things and show you the completed cards that I've done with those. So let me pop the camera down. Oh, look at that. Hello, Penny. Welcome. It's our brand new catalog that's starting a week from tomorrow, May 2nd. So if you are in the US and you do not have a demonstrator you work with already and you would like a copy of our catalog, go ahead and reach out to me with your address and I will make sure to get one in the mail to you as soon as I have mine. I have sent out some already to qualified customers, basically customers who have spent a certain threshold with me over the past 6 months or so. I send them a new catalog automatically, and those come right from the company, so they're direct shipped. So they go out a little earlier. I am waiting for my latest package to come. So Stampin' Up! Actually had a record sales day on, I believe it was April 4th, which was the first day when the last chance products went on sale. And that was also the first day that demonstrators could pre-order things from this new catalog. And they had a record sales day. So what they told us was if like say this catalog, if this was one item, and normally they sell like that one item, they sold like 20 times the items of any of their previous days, of their average day. So big sales day. So they are a little behind on shipping because of that. Then last week we had a free shipping day on Wednesday, and I definitely took advantage of that. So I'm waiting for that order to come in, and that has my catalogs in it as well. So as soon as I get those, I can get those out to more happy customers. So I can't show you the inside yet, not until next Tuesday. So we'll have to wait till after next Monday's live. But it is fabulous, gorgeous. I say this every year, but it's like my favorite one yet. They just keep upping their game. I can't help it. So they are fabulous. Everything's color coordinated. Everything is image coordinated. I love that Stampin' Up! Makes it so easy to be creative. So with that in mind, let's get with it. So as always, I have linked a supply list for this card along with cardstock measurements in the video description. So you can click that at any time to see exactly what's going on here. And then I've got some other things that we're working with tonight too, but this is the one that you'll get with the information in the video description. Excuse me. And all of the products that I'm showing you here can be purchased through my online store, and that link is also in the video description. So So as you can see, I've pre-stamped some things. I've got some things kind of going already. I forgot my rhinestones too, so we'll just make this one without, because there's a lot to show you tonight. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and emboss this. Oh, wait, look at this pretty little box. Isn't it gorgeous? This arrived for me in the mail over the weekend, and we were all very excited about it. Because as most of you know, last month I celebrated my 20th anniversary with Stampin' Up, and they sent me this gorgeous pin to mark the celebration in this gorgeous box. Like, seriously, fabulous. So I'm very excited about that, and I wanted to share that with all of you. I don't think I'm positive I've never lasted any place else in my career, independently or with another company, for 20 years. So that's a big deal. It is pretty cool, Penny. I was very excited. As you can tell, I was like, ooh, it's my pin. All righty. So, embossing. So for tonight, I happen to be using only 3D embossing folders, which are the slightly thicker ones. And because of that, with our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you only need the base plate and the specialty plate. So plate number 1 and plate number 4, okay? So this particular embossing folder, the Stripes 3D embossing folder, is actually part of a 2-pack. It comes with one called Splatters, which I will be using tonight as well. And you can tell, like, this is kind of our normal size card, right? And it doesn't quite fit. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So first of all, we're going to pop this in just kind of even with, I think I'm going to make it even with the edge of that. Oops. Oh, and I actually learned a cool little tip just yesterday from another demonstrator. So if you see the Stampin' Up logo there, and then there's a line that's kind of part of their logo. So if you have an embossing folder that it has a definite, like, you want things to be straight, like the stripes, what you can do is make your cardstock even with that line. And then you know your cardstock is straight. And so your lines should be straight too, your stripes, right? So there we go. Okay, so we normally put it through hinge side first, which I'm going to do for this first try. Roll, roll, roll. Okay, so now let's see. Ooh, cool texture. Love it. But we've got this blank spot down here. So what I'm going to do is put it back in the folder. That darn line there. And I'm just going to, so here's where the last one embossed. I just want to I'm going to eyeball about the same distance, between things. Close up that embossing folder. So now you can see if I tried to put this through, well, I guess it will fit. But if you have this, you can also put them through sideways. So it's recommended to put them through hinge first, but if it's too wide, go ahead and put it through sideways. It's fine, I promise. And this is one of the reasons, like, this particular embossing folder will fit in the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss, but obviously, if you're doing this, and I couldn't have fit that through the mini, and it won't go through this way through the mini. So that's why we're using the big boss tonight for all of our embossing needs. All right, let's get this out of the way for a minute. It will be making a reappearance soon. So really cool texture, right? And like, if you just wanted that, that's awesome. But I'm going to show you how I did the rainbow. And I used 7 of our blends markers. And so I used some darks, some lights. And what I did to determine that, actually, okay, I think all the darks or all the lights except for one. Anyway, this is the Poppy Parade. Sorry, the dark and the light shade. And so I went ahead first and grabbed all the ones I thought I would need and just did a tick mark to see how they were. And that light was too light for me for the rainbow I wanted. It looked more pinkish than it did red. So I went to the dark one. So if you're ever wondering, because sometimes it's hard to tell from the cap color, right? And it's also hard to tell on different kind of paper. So if you just have like our grid paper out or something, it's hard to tell exactly what the shade is. So I think we all have these goofy little strips of like basic white from when we're trimming off card layers and things. I like to keep these around, and this is a perfect thing to do with them, is to just make a little color swatch of your blends to see which colors are, how they're going to look on the white, because that's what you're probably using, and which ones you want to use. All right. That's a bonus tip for you. Okay, so I'm not going to do this entire thing because seriously boring. It'd be like watching paint dry, I think. But I'm going to show you. Oh, and I need to grab one more thing. Because I will tell you on the one, where's my sample? Honest, you guys, I'm more organized than this tonight, but if you can see right here, my starry sky kind of went to the next one, and so I had to cover it up with, I think that's Gorgeous Grape. No, Blackberry Bliss. So in order to avoid that, when I did the next one, I just grabbed some grid paper. You can grab scrap paper, you can grab a Post-it note, whatever you want. And I covered up and so just the stripe I'm trying to do is exposed there. And I took the brush tip of the marker and I just used the edge and just went over it. And just pretty lightly, I am not pressing down hard because I don't want it to go like in between the lines. I just want it to catch the raised part of the embossing. And I also didn't care if it was perfect, okay? So there you go. So see, there's like a little bit there. You can go back over that if you want, or you can leave it. It's a very brush strokey kind of embossing folder as it is. So it's not a, meticulous, perfect stripe. So what I did was I used the dark Poppy Parade. I used dark Pumpkin Pie, dark Daffodil Delight, dark Granny Apple Green, dark Tahitian Tide, which is one of my favorites, light Starry Sky, and light Blackberry Bliss. And when I was all done moving my paper down and coloring each one, and then I started over again, this is what I had. So you can really see kind of how blotchy it is up there, but that's kind of how the embossing folder went. So no big deal. And then I did catch a little bit of that Tahitian down at the bottom because it was there. So I'll finish that one some other time. But I think I will finish this card real quick because I did want to show you another little tip. So I think y'all love this little tip. So I am going to show it to you. Standard card size for the base, just an 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Then I've got a piece of the Starry Sky, and that is it's actually 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So there. And I forgot my dimensions. See, I was thinking I wasn't going to put this together in front of you guys, so I forgot to grab everything. But, all right, where did I put that other guy that I had finished? Seriously, you guys, there it is. I'm like, it was right here a second ago. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and attach this. Now, I will say it used to be with our old adhesive. I wouldn't necessarily trust it, but the Stamp and Seal is a lot stronger. And the reason I say that is because, you don't have a flat surface anymore, right? You've got all these grooves. And so sometimes if you weren't getting full contact, then I was worried about it. Now, I will say when I have an embossed piece, because I'm not getting flat contact, right? I do go around all the edges just to make sure that it's going to sit flat. Thanks, Penny. So this little piece of basic white, I know I put that in the link. It is 3 3/4 by 5, which is why my starry sky is like off to a weird measurement, because I wanted to have a very thin border there. And then what I decided was I wanted this whole thing to be kind of popped up. So I'm going to grab dimensionals. See, you can see that the Stamper Man got a hold of this because it stopped going in rows. Can always tell when I've used it and when he's used it, because he's not all, go in rows. He just grabs them, which is fine. I remark on it, but it doesn't bother me. It's just funny to me. We're different, and that's okay. All right, so see, you get that cool, just raised effect. So simple from the dimensionals, and dimensionals are so inexpensive. You get 300 of them in a pack, so good deal. Okay, here's the cool thing that I know you guys all love, and I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I had a little ink oops. That's why there's a ribbon on this card. See, guys, it's not a mistake. It's just an embellishment opportunity. Okay, so let's make a fork bow, shall we? So we are going to start with the ribbon on the spool, because that way you're going to waste less. You're going to go from, I'm right-handed, so this is how I do it. And I mean, I guess if you're left-handed and this is the way you're taught, this is probably just the way you're going to do it too. So I'm going to come from the right side over. I'm going to bring it around the back, and then I'm coming on top of this ribbon. And then I'm going to go through the middle tine of my fork underneath everything. So it's like a rabbit going down into his hole, right? So I'm going to give myself a little bit of a tail because I'm going to wrap this around. So I'm going to hold that between these two fingers because I can hold the fork at the same time. Take this guy and up and over through that middle tine. Then just turn your fork over and tie a knot. When you slide it off, you have the perfect bow that does not untie. It's fabulous. It's one of my favorite things ever. Thank you to my friend Jamie, because I've seen the fork bow before, but she's the one that really, I got it when she showed it. All right, we're going to tuck this off to the side so it doesn't cover any of my words, because I think I stamped this lower down than I did before, which is fine. So I left myself enough of a tail so I could wrap this around, and then you just clip it off. So it's a lot easier to do that than to clip off a bit of ribbon and then try to, figure out how to tie, right? It is sorcery, Penny, but it's good sorcery. It's like, are you a good witch or a bad witch? I like to think I'm mostly a good witch. Just trying to get this to, maybe I'll put it over here. Uh-oh, I lied to you guys. My bow came untied. That's weird. I've never had that happen. Wonder if it's the kind of ribbon. Or maybe I did it wrong. Let's try it again. So this is really cool ribbon. It's Sweet Sorbet metallic ribbon. Very awesome. And I just thought because we had so many colors, it was fine that this didn't match exactly. All right, so we go over and through the rabbit hole. We hold on to it with our left hand. Up and over between and tie it in a knot. There we go. Okay. Now it's sitting flatter too, so maybe I'll like it the way it was supposed to be. I know I've seen people tie bows like, oh, you have to turn it upside down and then it works and stuff, but I'm telling you, the fork bow is the way to go. All righty. So now I'm just going to pop that over, and I'm going to use a little bit of my tear and tape to secure that to the bottom or the back, whatever that is. I can actually just do that with one piece over both of those ends. Voila. So what I love about the tear and tape is it's going to help hold that cardstock down to the card, and it's holding the ribbon down to the cardstock as well. But, it's fine. See if I can pull that through. It was not quite tight enough. There we go. Having all sorts of little technical difficulties, aren't I? Mercury is in retrograde, if any of you are wondering, which is like a goofy, I don't know, astrology, astronomy, whatever thing. But we've used it as an excuse for a lot of things. So if something's not going right, it's because Mercury's in retrograde. You have my permission to use that one. It's very helpful. It's like when there's a full moon, same kind of thing. All right, then we will pop that on there. And I did cut this one a little bit smaller, and I will tell you the reason why. The reason why is because I did not get that attached. The reason why is because I had a piece of Tahitian Tide scrap in my stash that was just, it had some cuts out of the top and bottom. And so I had to cut it just a little bit smaller in order to use it. But I wasn't going to not use it because it was so close. So there you go. Rhinestones? No rhinestones. Personally, I like the rhinestones, but it doesn't really need it. It's a very colorful card. Okay, so that's one way you can add color to your embossing projects, is just straight with your blends. And I will tell you, my original thought when I got this out and was going to do it Friday night was I was going to watercolor in between the stripes, kind of in the channels, but I didn't have an orange watercolor pencil. So I went, oh, I'll just do the blends. Okay, so next we are going to use the cool Splatters 3D folder, which is the other half of the Stripes and Splatters. All right, so once again, I am using a piece that is larger than the folder, but this time I'm not going to do anything funky with it. And this one is not like a straight line pattern, so it doesn't need to be, I don't need to worry about making it all straight in the folder. So let's bring our big boss back in. The ribbon is quite sparkly, and it comes in all of the in colors from last year. So pretty awesome. Okay, so we're going to pop that guy through. Again, this is a 3D folder, and all of them are marked both in the online store and in the catalogs if they're a 3D or if they're just regular. If they're a regular folder, you just need different, you just use your other plates because they're not quite as thick. Okay, so once again, ooh, look at the texture. Very, very cool. I love it. That's super fun. We have some really great embossing folders, like just such fun patterns. So this time what I'm going to do is take my pool party stamp pad. I'm just going to open it right up, and I'm going to very lightly go over the raised image. And so it will mostly stay on the tops and not really settle into the crevices. And this is going to be very, kind of sporadic. It's not going to, different layers are going to pick up different ink. So, wow, that one really kind of looks like a cool splatter, like somebody dropped something on it. So that's a very, very easy way to add ink to your embossed image. So if you have something and you just want to give it some more character, you want to give it more pop, you don't just want the texture, you want color too, easy way to do it. And I have a finished card for you, all monochromatic in the pool party. This one came out lighter than that one. So there we go. So, and this is why I just left it with that part unembossed, is because I just added the greeting, a little bit of matching ribbon, and bam. Oh, and I did put a little bit of sparkly Winkostella on some of those splatters, because why not? Right? That is a very cool technique and so super easy. I mean, you got paper, you got an embossing folder, you got an ink pad, bam, you're done. So super easy. Okay, you guys ready for number 3? Number 3 might be my favorite and probably the one that I've done the most. So we are going to use the metal plate 3D embossing folder, another one of my faves. So this one is part of the it's like Ready to Ride, I think, suite. So it's motorcycle themed, which obviously like a chrome plated metal plate embossing folder, really super cool with that. But it's such a great just textural geometric kind of pattern. You don't have to use it for just that. You don't have to use it for industrial looking things. You could totally put that behind flowers if you wanted. So I did not tonight, but we're going to bring back in our big boss. Okay, we've got our number 1 plate. We've got our cardstock, right? But first, we need to add a little color right to the embossing folder. All right, this is super, super cool. And another really easy one, okay? I'm going to take our basic gray, because I was going a little industrial when I thought about this. Now, you have 2 sides of your embossing folder. It's probably hard to see on camera, but this one is indented. It's debossed is what we call it. So that's in, right? This one is raised up. You can probably see better there. So this one is, it's almost like when you have those plastic mats like at grandma's house, right? And you turn it over and it's got the spikies. That's kind of what this one is, except it doesn't hurt. So we're going to take this raised side, we're going to take the ink pad and just go right over it. Okay, very lightly again, because we don't want to smush it into the creases, but we want to ink up, and you can tap too. We want to ink up all those spiky guys. Basically, you're using this as an ink pad now, right? So we've got ink all over it. We are going to add our cardstock and put it through our Stampin' Cut and Emboss. All right. Let's see what we have. Ooh. So basically all that ink got pushed into the cardstock. So those are all indented. Like this side is the pokey uppy side right now. And this side is debossed or indented, but it's got all that gray color in there. There's a little bit of the like a distressed look to it too, where some of the ink got on there, and that's fine. Make sure you just need to wipe your embossing folder off, because you can see the gray still around the edges where the cardstock wasn't. So you want to wipe that off with a chamois or just a wet paper towel, or you can just rinse it off in the sink. It's all water-based ink, so not a big deal. That's really good to go. Now, you want to see what I did with this? Pretty cool as well. So I kept it pretty simple with the black and the gray, and then I added that pop of Parakeet Party. Super, super fun little birthday card there. Another little fork bow just wrapped right around. And I'm going to let you in on another little secret. See, look, peek behind there. You see some pink? Yeah, because I grabbed my polished pink cardstock first. One thing that was wrong with that is that the polished pink ink pad and refill are sold out, and I think the cardstock might be too. So I then pulled all of that cardstock out of there. But the other thing that I didn't like was I had it all attached. I didn't like the way it turned out, because I went tone on tone with the pink, and then I used gray for the happy, and it would all just kind of was muddy looking and not very distinct. So I thought I need a brighter, lighter color. So I grabbed the Parakeet Party. I die cut it with the exact same die from the deckled rectangles, so I knew it was exactly the same size. Stamped it in my colors and added black instead of gray, and perfect. And then I just literally just stuck it right on top of the other one. So I didn't have to peel anything off or anything like that. And if anybody notices it, it's just a cool kind of shadow effect that, ooh, you got pink behind the green. How fun is that? So that's a little tip for me to you on how to fix your mistakes, right? Like if you don't like the way something turned out, what can you cover it with, right? Can you cover it with ribbon? Can you cover it with another piece of cardstock? Can you cover it with, more stamping? It's just have some fun with it, do some experimenting, see what you can do. But I'm hoping that you liked these 3 different techniques of adding color to your embossing folders. I am going to be featuring embossing folders all this week on the Facebook page, so make sure you stay tuned to see what else I have up my sleeve or up my folder, right? Yeah, I'm pretty corny. It's a Monday, guys. A little tired. um, so just really easy techniques to get done. This one obviously takes a little bit more time, so that's one of those that, it's probably a one-off for somebody really special. These, man, you can mass produce those and people will just think you are the coolest thing in the world, because you are. All right, let me come up here so I can chat with you again a little bit. So I hope you enjoyed the techniques. I hope you're going to try. I know Penny said she's going to try that ink pad direct, just swipe right over it, because how easy is that, right? Um, Lots of other things you can do with embossing folders, like I said. So I will be featuring those all this week on the Facebook page and over on Instagram. Did you know I'm on Instagram? I'm Stamper Nan over there too. I'm Stamper Nan everywhere on the internet. So if you learned something new tonight, love it if you would share this video so your friends and family could learn a little something new as well. Otherwise, I am still Nan Gerlitz. Till next Monday, happy stamping.